Okay, everything good. Everything's good. Nope, almost. Alan Cole, first one again. Alrighty. There you go. First one. And we're early. Ashia is here. Hey. Very nice. Very good. Smallzilla, Harley's here. Howdy. JF Baird. Hello. David DeLorenzo. Hello. Tommy Taylor. Buckskin NYB. Marty. Blaine Orcutt. Hey, hello from Oklahoma. TJ's New Life. Door prize? Yeah, you missed the door prize. Alan already got it. Roy M. Mike Johnson is here. Stidley Designs. Hello. Roy is from Ohio. Frodo Joe's here. Bushy's here. Yeah, Friday night. We can nap or we can yap or we can do both. Let's see. Patrick Truesdale. Another Patrick from Texas. I don't know. This is going to be too many Patricks from Texas in one spot. It causes, spontaneous combustion. Smallzilla. Harley says, got something cool coming in the mail from me from Canada. I traded some of my Iowa chirp for some Folsom preforms so I can reference them for study. Well, Bill Hansen, what's up? Just doing the Friday night thing. Tommy Taylor says, everyone early tonight. Yeah, we still got 8 minutes, so we're, technically off the record. You want to post something that we don't normally post? If, not if, but when Red-Eyed Patriot gets here, he's going to be the moderator from now on. Yeah, so he'll be able to post links and post websites and post, addresses to your channel if you've got channels on YouTube and stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Alan Cole says, time to face snap some bacon and eggs. Yeah, you guys are lucky. I have to talk. You guys can face snap whatever you want, just as long as it doesn't have too much sugar in it. I'm opposed to sugar, if you didn't know yet. It's a pat attack, says TJ. Yes, it is. Patrick's like napping, says Patrick. I suppose. Yeah. There's a lot of us, apparently. Not as many as there are mics, though. There's a lot more mics. Alan says Sal and Tufts are getting their care packages, possibly Monday arrival. Awesome. Tommy Taylor, TJ, how many hours Australian are ahead of us? Yeah. Let us know what time it is where you're at or where you are. Yeah. Oh, I got a letter from Tufts University. That made me laugh. Yeah. Yeah. Not our Tufts, but Tufts University. I go, hey, Mike's been holding out on us. He's got a university and he's sending out spam. Yeah. What's up? Okay, question. Awesome. Yeah, ask questions for sure. Harley asks, I did enjoy the channel news sections where you updated us on projects. Do you think you'll ever add a project update section to these streams at a set time, like 30 minutes in? No, not gonna. No, I've stopped doing that. I used to, every once in a while I'd say, okay, now I gotta, make a formal list and announce the formal list. And on a channel news, I would say what's coming up. But I've failed so many times doing the stuff that I'm planning on doing when I plan on doing that I'm just not going to announce them anymore. I actually get more done if I do things at random and don't announce anything. I can get more done. Let's see. 9:54 a.m. for TJ in Australia. Wow. Perfect. Tufts University. Whoop whoop. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. The box of obsidian you unboxed was beautiful stuff, Pat. Yeah, it was. I'm very lucky to have subscribers that send me good stuff. Hmm. Yeah, it was nice stuff. Although I tried napping, what's today, Friday? I tried napping yesterday. I broke three things in a row, including one of the nice pieces of obsidian that I got. So I said, no, I can't be napping on days that I've already slotted to not nap. Yeah. I gotta take at least 3 days off from napping. Yeah. Ever heat treat Coshocton shirt? Asks Bill Hansen. I have not heat treated myself Coshocton shirt. I don't even know if it requires it or needs it or can respond to it. I don't know. I'm trying to think. But I don't remember anyone ever heat treating that stuff. But that doesn't mean it has not been heat treated. Uh, Tommy, oh no, John Turner. You did a video on green bloodstone that was cool. Any idea where I can get some green bloodstone? At Nappins. That's the only place I've ever seen it that is available to the public. Now there are subscribers that they don't want me they don't want me to announce where I get it from, where they get it from or whatever, because a lot of times they trade, and and they don't want it to become too scarce, and a lot of the suppliers they only supply people at Nappins. So my suggestion is, if you want to get some, you look on Facebook, because that's where the Flint Nappers, or that's where the rock sellers that advertise are usually advertising, on Facebook. And then go to Nappins and ask there. Or someone in the comment section here will guide you. Yes, yes. So, but I personally don't know where to, make a shopping list and include Bloodstone on it and then buy it. I don't, as a napper, I don't operate that way. And as other nappers, I don't think they operate that way either, unless they're in the profession of selling stone. Then, yeah, they would make a list and then try to either buy it, go find it, or make arrangements with somebody in the future that they get first dibs on whatever, that kind of thing. Let's see, but they cost money up front. If you want first dibs, you usually got to put down a deposit. And I forgot who I got the bloodstone from, and I'm not just saying that. I can't remember where I got the bloodstone from. But a lot of times, that kind of stuff, like the rare stuff like bloodstone and Armenian obsidian and Brazilian agate, they come in slab form, and the slabs are almost like money here in the Flintknapping community because it can be traded or sold. And usually it's really high grade stuff. Roy says it's 1955 hours here. Roy, are you in England? Buckskin NYB or Marty says, I rewatched that video when you napped the two-faced rock. My son laughed out loud when you called it a chocolate dessert. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it looked like a fancy dessert. Yeah. Styly Designs is in the house. Let's see here. Harley says, interesting question for you. Since natives inhabited the country for a long time, do you think they came across old artifacts as well? Do you think they ever reuse them, or how they interpret? Yeah. Okay. This is a question that actually has been answered quite a few times in the archaeological record. There have been many instances. It's not a common thing, but there have been many instances where they find points from other time periods mixed in with points from a later time period. Earlier points mixed in with the later points. And some of them have been repurposed. Like there is at least one case where there's a Clovis with notches on the sides. At least one case of that. As an example, that's a pretty famous example of a Clovis being repurposed. But there are other examples, and sometimes we don't know that they're repurposed because it's just a blade from the past that's been reworked. It doesn't show the stem, so we can't make a diagnosis on the type of point. But yeah, they used to rework some stuff that they would find, and they would a lot of times they would find um, points from old time periods in their camps. Let's say they need to dig another pit for some reason, maybe to store some food or whatever, or cook some food. They dig another pit and they go, hey, there's flakes and little broken points and stuff from our ancestors, and they would keep them. And there's also stories where they would say that spirits or certain entities would be making those. Now, in Europe and in the UK, that was an explanation because they would do the same thing in Europe. They would find points and stuff from previous periods, and they would, I think like in Scotland, they would say that these things were uh, made by fairies or whatever. I'm not sure exactly. Some stories say that those were formed by lightning strikes. They're um, magical things from the past, formed by lightning strikes or made by, you know, spiritual entities. The same thing with Native Americans. They came up with different stories. There are accounts of, just word of mouth of stories that Native Americans would tell about the ancient ancestors and what they made. Some of them were actually knowledgeable and some of them were just made up. Let's see. Good questions. Mike Tufts is here. Look, Mike, I got a spam letter from your university. What's up, Mike? Yeah. Let's see. Patrick Truesdale. Is steel the best way to nap bottle bottoms hands down? Nope. It's not the best. What is the best to nap bottle bottoms? Whatever works good for you. Or the best for you, quote unquote. I don't like doing this, but quote unquote, what works best for you is what works best. Now, copper, I think, works better on glass than steel. Aluminum works okay on glass too, but I prefer copper on glass. As long as the copper is not the really hard copper. I like soft copper on glass myself. Uh, yeah, for me, my personal preference, if I really want to be stress free, I use copper. Copper relieves a lot of stress for me, and it allows me to focus on other things instead of having to deal with the drawbacks of the material that I'm using. Copper has very few drawbacks. Alan Cole says, TJ, keep an eye out for Sal and Mike Tufts videos next week. Hopefully you can see some more Obsidian unboxing. Yes, yeah. Tommy Taylor is here. Let's see. Okay. I'm missing some of the chat. Hey, okay, 7:59. Yeah, I'm 5 minutes behind in the chat. Sal's in the house. Hey, Patrick and Flakes. Yeah. I like finding the stones at Flintridge, Ohio, says Roy. I see. I got your flake right here, Sal, says Mike. Let's see. I like the links REP put on here Wednesday. He was able to follow and now seeing so good posting the videos. Yeah. If Michael or Red Eyed Patriot shows up, he's going to be the moderator on these live streams. He's usually here, but we'll see. And he can post links. TJ says, Alan Cole, I will subscribe to them both. Yes, yes. Patrick Truesdale, they definitely did. Even grinding stones in places with grinding holes, they used a lot. Yeah, they did. Dwayne Griffin is here. Hey, I just spoke to you by text or something. Yeah. I need to map some glass you sent me. Alan Cole says, I need a magic ancient point. Yes, you do. Tommy Taylor, Sal, I still have to watch your last video. I've been busy lately, probably. Okay. I'm looking for questions. Let me see. Roy says, I'm in Ohio. Jack, I also keep 24-hour schedule. So what is it? What do you mean? What is it? And you keep a 24-hour schedule? I can't follow a schedule very well, although I have to set a schedule. I have to set a schedule, but following it is the problem. Yeah, but if I don't have a schedule, I get all nervous. I have to write one down. It doesn't make any sense. I know. Tommy Taylor says, don't forget the like button. Yeah, only 16 likes, but 32 viewers. Sal says, I went to Tufts University and look at me. Yeah, Mike Mason's here. Sign up for the School of Hard Knocks, Tufts University. Yeah. Brennan's here. Sup? Mary is here. Hi, everybody. Mary is here. Ralph Snyder is here. Hello, hello. Okay, Richard Cummings is here. Awesome. Yeah, everyone say hi. If you're new, let us know where you're from, what state or what country. We usually have internationals in the house from England and even from places like Spain and Poland, the UK, Denmark. And Sal's video on his trip to his favorite quarry was pretty funny. I got to see that one. I haven't seen that one. Let's see. Hello, everyone that joined. I'm too lazy to type your name. Sal says, hello, everybody. Let's see. Where did I miss? Ross Wellman is here. Patrick, I watched video 1318 from 2 years ago. It was a masterful advanced napping, and I wanted to leave a comment. Would you see the comment now? Yeah, I get notifications on my responses to my videos. I can see that. If you leave a comment, it'll give me a notice. Yep, I have that setting set up. I have set that setting. Scott Lauer is here from England. Hello, hello. Graylin Landry is from Southwest Louisiana. Do you know about the Niblets Nap-In in Southwest Louisiana? There's a Nap-In there. It's in Vinton. Let's see. Everyone knows about Tufts University, right? Sending out spam letters. Yeah. What's up with that? Let's see. Ralph is face napping some puffy tacos. Oh, I forgot an update. I found out that Jumpy is a girl and she's got 6 babies. And they were all here last night after midnight. I couldn't sleep, so I was sitting on the front porch. And then I had to take a drive, see if I could get sleepy. I actually have a gym membership. I can go there 24 hours a day. So I went to the gym and exercised a little bit, came back, and lo and behold, there's Jumpy with 6 babies all around my front porch, drinking water, eating cat food that I threw out on the lawn. I couldn't believe it. And they're all like about that size, but they look big enough to spray, so I didn't want to get too near them. They say they don't spray until much later on, but I forget what the number of weeks is. So they were about 8 inches long with the tail up. With the tail down, they were probably about 10 inches long. So I didn't want to mess with them. They already looked kind of developed enough to spray, so I didn't mess with them. But one of them came, a couple of them came up and were sniffing my feet while I was sitting on the porch, and they were all kind of milling around and doing their skunky things. That's the latest update on those guys. So Jumpy's a girl. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a skunk grandpa. Just keep in mind, they're all wild, right? These are all wild skunks out here, but I'm getting used to them, and they're getting used to me. And now the gray fox is here every night now also. And it came around when all the little babies were there, and nobody paid attention to the fox. They're all like, well, we're eating the food now. What are you going to do? So they were all eating the food, and the fox was just waiting to see if he can have an opportunity. 6. I've never seen the skunk with 6 babies, but she's got 6. You have to look into that nap-in. Okay, I got nap-in list. In case you don't know, for the 46 people watching, I have a nap-in list. If you have a question on what state has nap-ins, just ask. I can already tell you right now that Colorado doesn't have a nap-in. But I found out that Arizona has a nap-in, and I got to write that information down. Someone texted me that. I still haven't written it down. But let's look at Louisiana before I get an ADHD attack and then forget what I'm doing. Let me know. Yeah, there it is. Here it is. I'm gonna show you the Vinton, Louisiana nap-in. Okay, these are my notes. Niblets Bluff Park, 3409 Niblets Bluff Road, Vinton, Louisiana. You can call 337 blah 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 blah. We had one in April, but there's another one in October. There's 2 of these every year. Okay, the October one is probably near the end of October, but we don't know for sure. I've got to get the dates, and they might already have a date for the October one. I'm going to go to Texas in October. Most of the guys from Texas that go to that nap-in in Texas in October also go to the Niblets Bluff. It's like it seems to be like the reception to the Texas nap-in, like when you go to a wedding and then you go to reception. I've heard the reception or the Niblets Bluff nap-in is a lot more wild and crazy than the Texas one. So you're in luck. If you like being wild and crazy, hey, Red Eyed Patriot's here, and he's posting the links already. I didn't even need to make him a moderator. I guess it's a one-time deal, and it remembers. Yeah, Jumpy's a proud mama of 6 babies. I'm wondering, what am I going to do? Are they going to hang around with all the other skunks? So we've already got 9. Now you add 6, that's 15. My goodness. But I'm assuming that some of the neighbors will adopt, because the one with the blue collar keeps coming around. So that maybe the neighbor will adopt another one and then put maybe a red collar on that one. But there's one with a blue collar that's very similar to Jumpy. And I get mixed up. There's 3 of them that are like triplets, almost identical. Jumpy, blue collar, and another one. And I get confused between Jumpy and this other one. I thought that Jumpy had the solid black stripe all the way from her back to the tail. But no, Jumpy is the one with the white patch in between. Yeah. The other ones have a solid black stripe all the way from the mid back to the tail. So, but those 3 are almost identical. It's very hard for me to tell them apart. And it looks like they're from the same litter because they're exactly the same size. Jesse is here. Happy Friday, fellow nappers. Let's see. Buckskin NYB. Cat food quantities are on the rise. Some needs to send a super chat. Oh, yeah. Yeah. With 6 more skunks, the cat food expense is going to go up for sure. But I'm trying not to set out too much. And I'm spreading it out. Like Louise came by twice today, but I brought the cat food back in so that the skunks wouldn't be up on the porch. And then before I started the live stream, I just threw the cat food into the lawn, along with some Cheerios, because I was watching a pet skunk video, and when the babies are developing when they're young, they need a little bit more sugar to compensate for their activity, so they don't get all um, so they don't wear themselves out. They need some sugar, so I put out some Cheerios today. Hopefully, they'll come back around tonight. Yeah, I already get a big bag of cat food. I go through a bag of cat food every couple of weeks. Big old 20-pound or something. Let's see. The neighbors are going to think you're growing the ganja with the skunk smell. Yeah, but they don't smell. And this when they fight with each other, they do spray each other, but that smell goes away fast because they are very accurate with their spray. They'll spray exactly on what they're trying to hit. Hey, $10 super chat. Thank you, thank you. Who gave me $10? Let's see. Is there a question in there? Oh, Mike Tufts. Congratulations, Grandpa Stinky. Yeah, it's a good life. Rob Sefton, 47. What does that mean? There is a first nap in Arizona. Yeah, I gotta write down the information in my nap-in list, and then update my nap-in list online or in the comment sections and stuff here on my videos. I have to put that in there. But there is an Arizona nap-in. Who's going to Letchworth? Asks Bushy or Ferto Joe. Who's going to Letchworth? Yeah, I'm going to try to make it. It's in August. Michael says, okay. So Red Eyed Patriot or Michael is posting links. Randy Coffee says, greetings, Patrick. What's your favorite stone to nap and your favorite point? I love the channel. My favorite stone to nap is black butter obsidian, and my favorite point is one that's not too thick. I mean, not too thin and not too many notches. I don't have a favorite point. I used to have the Edwards as my favorite point. But I quickly got burnt out on that because people wanted me to make lots of Edwards points. So I hardly ever make those anymore, and they're no longer my favorite because I got kind of burnt out on those. So I like ones that don't have many notches. Yeah. Or serrations. Just simple leaf-shaped blades are what I usually end up doing. But yeah, black butter obsidian. But my favorite used to be high-grade hornstone, Indiana hornstone, or high-grade heat treats, right? Or what was the other one? I don't remember now. Georgetown was up there in the very beginning many years ago, like 10 years ago, but I don't like Georgetown anymore. Georgetown Flint. Yeah, I can't think. But hornstone, at one time I said if I could have only high grade hornstone for the rest of my life, I'd be happy. But no, now it's if I could have all the black butter obsidian that I wanted, that would be good. Because every time I have a dream about napping, it's always a black butter obsidian, and I'm always looking for obsidian, opaque, not the see-through kind, but the jet black or some obsidian like mahogany obsidian that you can't see through it. That's what, for some reason, that's what I try to look for during dreams of when I'm dreaming about napping. Yeah. So, yep. Hope that answers that question. Yeah, but you didn't tell us your favorite point. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite. No. Mike Tuff says, I need a family of skunks around my house to mask the scent in the fall. What does it smell like in the fall at your house? Patrick Truesdale says, I paused it and took a picture. Thank you again. All right. Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, that's a good way to do it is you take a snapshot, a screenshot. Yeah, let's see. Roy Browski's here. My favorite napping material is anything I can find and I get my hands on. Yeah, there you go. It's like me with hunting. Yeah. Same with napping. My favorite material at the time is what I can get my hands on for free. So I was supposed to start napping from this bucket of road rock. It's road rock. Right now it's about 50 pounds. I'm gonna dump it out. Hold on. It's gonna be noisy. Yeah. What shall we get some road rock the points on the video? I found this for free. Yeah. So this is my favorite for today. But it doesn't compare to the black butter obsidian. But that's what I'm supposed to be napping that today. So maybe I'll just chat the first hour, and the second hour I'll start napping. By that time, all the crybabies will be gone. They'll go, I don't see any flint napping, so I'm going to leave. So when they leave, well, I'll start napping. Let's see. So I agree with you, Roy. Blades and points. Oh, Sal says, so not smoked char cloth? My lungs are still messed up from that. What, are we talking about char cloth somewhere? Where did we talk about that? Oh, do not smoke char cloth. My lungs are still messed up from that. Yeah, what are you doing smoking char cloth? It must be one of your videos. I need to watch those. Let's see. The clover is better. Oh, Tommy Taylor gave me $5 super chat. Thank you. No question. Yep, no question. No. There's comments on that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you can comment on the super chat. Interesting. Mary says, my favorite point of all time is the ones that don't break. Alan Cole says, Patrick, that gray silver sheen banded stuff from Brian is buttery. I'll send some when you are getting low. Perfect. Anything buttery or opaque or not see-through is my favorite now. Well, my most preferred. Yeah. Let's see. Prairie dog. I keep saying that. Prairie Ghost Ken says, I have a local contact for obsidian and lots of nappable rocks like chert quartz, basalt, and where I am. Lucky. 99% of nappers don't have that. Let's see. Let's see. Projectilepoints.net. If you go on projectilepoints.net, you can search for stuff by state or region. Yeah. It doesn't work all that great, though, but you can do it. Mike Tuff says, my favorite point is a drill. Imagine that. Roy Browski says, I'm a crybaby. So you want to see napping already? When is he going to start napping? Spend 24 minutes plus like he started 15 minutes early and he's still not napping. Just go make yourself a little crybaby sandwich. Yeah. That'll take a few more minutes. Let's see. I can't say I have a favorite, says Mike Mason, but I'm sure I almost made it before I blew off the barb. Yeah. Dwayne Griffin says, hey, Patrick, that Texas napping, where is it being held? It's being held in Brady, Texas. You should be very familiar with that. Yes or no? Let's see. QRST. I'll give you the information on that one. I should already have the October dates for the Texas Nap-In because I think they've announced it already. But here you go. Texas Nap-In. Richards Park, Brady, Texas. These are the phone numbers. Take a snapshot of the screen. April, right, is already past 2025. But there's one coming up in October. You can text or call those numbers. There's 3 phone numbers there, and they will give you information on the nap-in if they've already have a date. Okay, but there's the address, Richards Park. It's a park, but the nap-in is under the pavilion, but you go in like you're going to rent a space to go camping. You go into the main area where the restrooms are there, but past the restrooms, there is a pavilion. Underneath the pavilion, and it's Brady, Texas, Richards Park. There's no physical address. You type in Richards Park as in the GPS or in the search, and it'll tell you where to go. I'm looking for. Did I write down? I did not write down the Arizona nap-in, but there's a nap-in going on in Arizona coming up. I think it's maybe this month or July. Not this month, right? We only have that long, not many days. It probably is in July. Anyways, there you go. And that's the only one in Texas, but it's twice a year in Brady, Texas. Ask for corn. Oh, Jared says it's the Marsha nap-in. Where am I? I missed a bunch of the chat. Crybaby sandwich, yeah. Ken says we have jasper, chalcedony, nephrite, jade, lots of cool geology on Vancouver Island. Oh, there you go. You're on Vancouver Island. Let's see. Quartz is everywhere, says Ken. Yeah, that's true. It's not always the same quality, though. And some of it can be heat treated, luckily. Yeah, Roy says at least I'm not the only Roy here anymore. Yeah, we're starting to get people with the same names. We got so many people watching. There's lots of people with the same names. Let's see. Jared says, Roy, it sounds like those neighbors are going to have to turn up missing. Let's see. Tommy Taylor says, boy, that super chat donation jumped me to 325 experience points, XP points. Woohoo. Awesome. Roy says, missing in Craxian. What is that? Let's see here. Mary says, Prairie Ghost Ken trying to make us all cry babies. Everyone remember to hit the like button, says Michael, Red-Eyed Patriot. There's no other napper who's been more influential in the past 15 years than Patrick. He's inspired more nappers than anyone I've ever heard of. Well, thank you. That's the reason why I let you be the moderator. There you go. Thank you. Let's see here. Prairie Ghost Ken says, I need to find a Canadian nap-in. I have my napper guy I bought my obsidian from. I need to hang out. There is a Canadian nap-in, and I lost the information on it. I thought I had it in here. Someone sent me information on the Canadian nap-in, and like a fool, I didn't write it down right away. Same with the Arizona nap-in. No, New Mexico nap-in. I didn't write it down right away. I was going to, but then, something must have happened, like squirrel walked by or something. Ooh, squirrel. What was I going to do? I don't know now. Stupid ADHD. So yeah, I need to write down the New Mexico or Arizona nap-in and then the Canadian nap-in. I'm stepping on the rocks now. Let me nap it with my feet. Yeah. There you go. There's some napping. Let's see. Roy says, well, there's Will Lord and Ryan Gill. They also don't put down their fans, so that's cool. Yeah. You should not put down your fans. Ken says, Mary, no. All the Flint obsidian is on the mainland. Oh, okay. Ralph says, my favorite points by period: Paleo, Holcomb, Hilo, Crowfield, Archaic Thebes, Brewerton, Fox Valley, Woodland, Adena, Madison, and of course, Snyder's. Madison was one of your favorites? That's just a triangle. Noah Merritt is here. Hello, hello. Scott Lauer says, oops, I lost my place. I've blown barbs off 2 really pretty B&T or barbed and tanged arrowheads in the past couple of days. It's killed my napping mojo for a couple of days. Yeah, that does it. That'll do it. Mike Tuff says or asks, Patrick, have you figured out any tool yet that you're going to use for that large nodule from Danny? No, I haven't. I'm probably going to use aluminum. That's the only thing I've come up with so far. Yeah, I'll probably use aluminum to nap that big old 20-inch slab of obsidian. Yep, probably aluminum. Jared says, my Grizzy Man comment question wasn't important, but I think my messages aren't showing up again. That's not good. Roy says, I can make pine pitch voodoo dolls and burn them in front of people's doors. Something's going on in the comment section I'm not catching up with. Yeah, Rob's squirrel. We got tons of squirrels. I don't even talk about the squirrels that we have in the backyard because there's such a huge amount. There's at least 4 of them that are always fighting. But there's 2 more that show up. I can tell because they vary in the amount of white they have on their chest. The one that's now the leader, the head culprit or bandit, is very light colored, almost pure white, and with a big patch right under his neck. Easy to figure out when he's in the house. I'm assuming it's a male, but I haven't checked. I don't get out the binoculars and see what's going on like that. What is this? What are you talking about over here? Alan Cole, what are you talking about? Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. I'll start napping in a minute. The chat's going really fast. My road rocks sound heat treated. Is there a sound to heat treated stuff? They're not heat treated. They're just regular road rocks. This grayish Edwards Plateau chert. It's not Georgetown, no, but I actually like it a little bit better than Georgetown because at least it's usually just mid-grade stuff. It's not like sometimes it's really high grade, really, really good. Like some Georgetown is like excellent stuff. This never reaches that level. It's not like a 9. It's usually around an 8 if it's high grade stuff on this stuff. Georgetown, good high quality Georgetown, it can be a 9. This is on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the best. So the highest grades of this stuff is around an 8. Well, most of it's around a 7 or 6. Like this one's a 6 or 7. And I don't know what this is going to be. This is the biggest piece I have, so I might just send this to Jim Cooper. Yeah, because this is I'm going to send anything over 6 inches. I'm going to send to Jim. He's going to send me some plaques. Yeah, this is 7-inch, so I'm not going to nap this one. Send it to Jim. I'll nap this other stuff. I got stuff that's around this size. 4 inches. Yeah. So 4 inches. I got most of my stuff's in that range. See that? And these are all rocks I found for free on the side of the road. And no, I'm not going to tell you where it is because it'll all be gone. Let's see. Dwayne Griffin's message was retracted. What did you do, Dwayne? Patrick Truesdale says, I wish I could find some glassy stuff. Yeah, me too. Ralph says, Scott, I plan to nap a Columbia River gem point out of Brazilian agate. Nice. If you want, the best place to find good stone is at Knapping's. You've got to start going to Knapping's and you'll find good stone. Either as free flakes like debitage. You can usually pick up debitage for free at Knapping's. That stuff like this. You can get this stuff for free at Knapping's, and a lot of it is excellent quality. Okay? You need to start going to Knapping's. For anyone who doesn't know, and you don't even need to talk to anybody, you can just wander and meander and not talk to anybody and pick up flakes. Because someone else will ask, hey, are those flakes available? And then you'll just watch and look and say, if he picks them up, I want to pick them up. And you just go in there and start picking them up. If they say, yeah, they're available. Sometimes they're giving away buckets like this of stone. They'll say, hey, anybody want some rocks? These are stuff that I'm not going to nap. So anyone come and get it. And you don't need to say anything. You just go over and get some. Yeah. I know people that don't like to talk to people. And some of them show up at Knapping's. So just letting you know, you don't have to talk to anybody. Let's see. Alan Cole says, Patrick, I saw a tool someone is making for you. It's very unique. Yeah? Is a mystery tool. Roy says, I don't know. If I could fire any arrows I've made until I can make 20, at least straight and symmetrical, or the neighbors might end up unicorns. Yeah. That's the trouble about skipping around and not reading all the comments. I don't know what's going on in the comment section. Mike Tuft says, Patrick, I'm going to send you out. Let's just call it Thor's hammer. And also a 2 1/4 inch cap with a handle like a bopper. Sweet. Ken says, agate is another around here. Is that nappable? Agate is nappable. Where you been? Let's see. Peter says, I didn't miss this one. Peter Cohn is here. He didn't miss it. Nope. Roy says, if it's curved, it might fire somewhere else. Talking about arrows, I guess. Jeff Chin, hello. Danny Collins is here. Hey, everybody. I just wanted to stop in to say hello. Yeah, Danny Collins, lithics and leather plus. He sells stones too and tools. Yeah, well, lithics is the stones, yeah, but some people don't make that connection. Yeah, and Danny Collins sends me stuff, supports the channel. Yeah, Patrick says I had to go to one. Yeah, you'll have to go to a nap-in. Make sure you I have nap-in lists in most of my videos, comment sections, recent videos. So you just look in the comment section, and there should be a nap-in list. If not, just ask me, and I'll get notices on people who ask me in the comment section, questions in the comment section. So I can answer it by either posting the nap-in list under your question or just telling you where to go to find the nap-in list. Probably both. Roy says, if you told me I could have wandered and picked up stuff, I would have gone despite the rain. There you go. Next time you can go. Just plan on doing it. Yeah, you don't have to say anything to anybody. And no one's going to mind either. Yeah. We know there's a lot of Lone Ranger nappers out there. Roy says, I thought I needed all the money. You don't need money to pick up flakes and rocks at Knapping's in most cases. You can. There's a lot of good stuff for sale. Yeah. You're going to be sorry you didn't bring money if you don't. At least, you know, $40. Just bring some. Ralph says, Patrick, what a score. I just found 14 slabs of heat treat Brazilian agate in my old knapping toolbox. Well, there you go. Nothing like finding good stuff. Let's see. Dwayne says, that's true. Everything is 5 hours away here. Yeah. Texas has a lot of dirt and flint, but it's usually not where most people live. Yeah. Patrick Truesdale says, agate is great so long as there's not pockets of calcite that will cause big problems. Yeah, that is true. Noah Merritt says, Sal, hey man, it's like our Walmart stash. Ross Wellman, Patrick, look down at your feet. It looks like some of the other nappers that don't clean up the floor. That drives me nuts. Yeah. Right now, I just dumped out a bucket of stuff I've been breaking on film here. Let's see. Roy says, next year I'll be more determined to go. There you go. Okay, I'm almost caught up with the end of the chat. A lot of bad rock can be found at nap-ins too, says Mary. Yeah, if you don't mind a challenge, just pick up all the bad rock that you can fit into your vehicle. Yeah, and there's usually a lot. Alan Cole says Obsidian is 4.5 hours away from me. It's always worth the trip. No issues, no tissues. Mm-hmm. Patrick says, I just want to know what he does with all the waste or spoil. Well, I keep stuff that is an inch or longer. I'm losing the video quality. People ask me all the time, what happens to all the flakes? And I say, I save most of them that are what I call sweet flakes. I don't just throw these away. Now, there are some that I do throw away, and they're usually small and curved, like this. I'll throw these away. I call these crud flakes, and they're usually about an inch long or less. Okay, I throw those away, and some people want to know what I do with them because they don't know what to do with their flakes. Some people want to know what I do with them because they think I throw them away, and if I'm throwing them away, they ask me, "Well, can I have them?" So whichever camp you're in, let's try to answer all the questions. If you want to know how to get rid of these so you don't get in trouble, just throw them in the landfill. And by trouble, I mean, are you confusing it or is it going to be confused for the real thing later on by archaeologists? If you're worried about that, don't dump them in your backyard. Dump flakes in the trash that goes to a landfill because then it's mixed in with a bunch of other stuff like modern glass. Okay? So archaeologists won't get mixed up. It's with modern glass. That means it's not ancient debitage. Now, if you want to know what I do with mine, I save a lot of my flakes. Sometimes I send out boxes of flakes. Sometimes I sell flakes in the auctions I have every week on my channel. And sometimes I just save these forever for myself. But not this size. I usually throw those away. Or smaller, I throw these away. And if you look at my debitage during videos and you see something you think you might like, I'm usually going to save that one. So everything you think is useful, I probably will save that because I will think it's useful as well. But everything you think that you probably won't nap because they're too cruddy, too small, too cracked, or whatever, yeah, I throw those away. Okay, let's see. Sal says I always eat a bowl of Frosted Flakes before I start napping. They're great. Yeah. Mary says some people buy empty boxes for him to fill. I suppose so. Roy says I use some of the flakes from stones in diorama. That's usually all I get out of the stone I find, and I come so close most times before it blows up. I've known guys that tumble the debitage and use the tumbled flakes for stuff. It reminds me, I got to make some guitar picks one of these days. TJ's new life says the only flakes I have are the corn ones, corn flakes. All right, let's start napping. Okay, everyone's already made their sandwiches. They've already face napped whatever they're going to face nap tonight. If you don't know what face napping is, you'll learn eventually. All right, so I'm going to start. See if I can get something out of this one. This is cracked on this space, so it's not that great. We'll see. I'm already saying it's not that great, but I don't know. It might be that might be the only problem. Oh yeah. So I hit it there, took off this, and this looks like it's good stuff. Yeah. I saved this. If you think you might like it, it's probably one that I would save for myself. Yeah. Sometimes I will sell those. And when they break up like that, sometimes it's an internal defect. Sometimes I'm using too much power. Sometimes it's because they're snapping halfish. I had one guy tell me that I should support everything that I'm flaking because it'll hold together better. Yeah, but if it snaps that easily, it's going to be hard to thin down. So I would call that a sweet flake. So I'm going to save it. Anything you think would be called a sweet flake, I save that. Like I said, for napping later or for selling or for giving away in some cases. Sometimes I bring a bunch of flakes to a nap-in. So if there's somebody new that doesn't know what good stuff is, I'll say, hey, this is high-grade stuff. Here, try this. I'll just bring it to nap-ins so people can understand what high-grade chert is and stuff. And I'll just give them some flakes to nap. And they go, so that's high-grade stuff. I've been napping for 5 years and I've never napped anything like this. This is a whole new ball game. Yeah, they had no idea. So I'm just skimming, or I don't know, removing blades. But their blades are usually twice as long as they are wide. So these might not be blades because they might be like 1-to-1. But I don't know. I think they might be 2-to-1. Twice as long as they are wide, but maybe that's close. Maybe not. Okay. I'm using a 14-ounce bopper, Mike Tufts bopper, and I'm slowly ruining it. See how it's becoming detached from the handle? But it's not loose, so it's okay. So this one, that particular strike, that was a giggly one. Nice, right? That particular strike, I hit on this side, and it went all the way across. It gave me a sweet flake, and it's high-grade stuff. But like I said before, this high-grade stuff is about a 6 or a 7. Well, I would say a 7. Yeah, not a 6. 6 is just barely above, or just one step above floor tile. So it's better than that for sure. Much better. So I would say it's about a 7, this stuff. It's an 8 if it doesn't snap in half. So I can get flakes like this that don't snap in half. So it's about a 7 or 8 as far as quality goes. Luckily. Yeah. And these are, I call these coast to coast flakes because they go from one end to the other, but it's not an overshot because there's no loss of width. Okay. It's just a nice, sweet flake. And not too much curve, so I won't lose too much length. With a curved flake, you're going to lose length. Yeah. So I'll get as many of these as I can from a nodule, and then when it gets too thin to do that, I'll make a little biface. Oh yeah. Guess what? I've got my natural tools toolbox. Antler. Rocks. Big hammerstone. Little hammerstone. Antler pressure flaker. Pistol grip type. Or bird beak type. Yeah. No one else uses these except me, I think. Well, now they probably do. This is a pistol grip pressure flaker with a little hole drilled in so I can insert a piece of antler because they usually wear out too fast. So I got 2 pistol grips. Let me just start using them. This is a moose antler. Yeah. Let's start using the hammerstone and stuff on the this is a quartzite hammerstone on the Texas chert. Yeah. And believe it or not, I know how to use natural tools. I started out using natural tools. Yeah. Because I wanted to be a purist. Until I found out that purity is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. Doesn't really matter too much. This one had a natural crack in it right there. Yeah, see that? So that reduced the width quite a bit. Yeah. I can find natural hammerstones. We're losing video quality. I can find these hammerstones here in Vermont, but that's about all that's useful here for knapping where I'm living. Except if I go to Lake Champlain, there's, knappable materials there. In case you don't know, there's a couple guys that are from Vermont that watch the channel, and sometimes they might be lurking in the comment section. All right, that's also cracked right in the middle at a natural seam. Yeah, there was a seam in it, so that's a bummer. But I did get some good flakes off of that. Let's try another piece. See what we can get. Is there a difference between the hammerstone and the copper boppers? Yeah. Hammerstones wear out much faster. They produce very similar flakes. The softer hammerstones produce a slightly different flake, but you can get, the flakes overlap in characteristics. You can get soft hammerstone looking flakes from a hard hammerstone and hard hammerstone looking flakes from a soft hammerstone. They overlap with each other, so you can't know for sure. Some people will say, well, there's a characteristic, there's a certain look to these flakes if you use natural tools. Yeah, sometimes, but if you look closely, it's very difficult to tell. Even if you look closely, it's very difficult. Sometimes you can tell on a microscopic level because it'll show signs of deposits from a stone onto the platform. But that's about it. You have to look very closely. You can't just, it's not a cursory thing where just by glancing at it, you can tell. Yeah. People say they can do it that way, but no, you need to. look closely. So yeah, you can get nice sweet flakes off of these little nodules. One advantage of hammerstone, if there is such a thing, is that you can abrade and uh, nap with the same stone. You don't need to switch. Like with copper, you just switch and get your abrader, put down your bopper, get your abrader. But this, you can abrade and hammerstone at the same time. I'm going to try to get some sweet flakes, although it might not cooperate. Did it do it? I tried to do it. It almost went across. I can't hit too hard because if I overshoot this, it'll ruin it. So yeah, I've already gotten, I think that's it. I can't get any more big flakes off of this one. See, what time is it? We got 1 more hour in the chat. Okay. Or in the live stream. All right, let's see. Let me switch hammerstones here. Why? Because this one's kind of irregular. It's got too many pits in it. So I'm thinking that when I get crushings like this, I'm losing accuracy because there's pits in the hammerstone. This one's a little bit smoother, but it's also harder, so it might not do very, it might not help me that much because hard hammerstones tend to crack the edge more. And I don't like crackly edges. But it depends on the material. It depends on the tool stone. Some of it responds well to harder hammerstone, some of it doesn't. This is not bad. So yeah, I'll check the chat in a minute. Let me just see if I can get this knocked down into a biface first. I'm holding back a little bit because I don't want to smash the edges all to all the pieces. Smash the edges all the pieces. So a square edge, I just zigzag it. You can see the square edge, right? Hopefully the video quality is okay. I noticed a little bit earlier that I was getting some bad interruptions. Okay. It's sliding on the edge. There it goes. So copper grips a little better. I'm so used to copper that I'm thinking the hammerstone's going to grip it, but it doesn't. There's a little bit of a learning curve between the natural and the copper. Yeah, it's not gripping the edge. Softer hammer stones will grip the edge better, but they also wear out faster. I prefer to use hard hammer stones for most of my work because it doesn't wear out as fast. Less chance of it snapping the hammer stone too. So there's a little biface. I think I can go a little bit thinner. This is an abrading stone I found. An abrading stone I found here in Vermont. I'm calling it an abrading stone because it's very good for abrading. I don't know what kind of stone it is. It's just good for abrading. All right. Okay, ready? Come on. Yeah, it doesn't. It does not grab the edge like copper. I think I said that already. So I've got to be very careful with it. The tendency is to hit too high up. If it's not grabbing the edge, you tend to hit. You tend to want to hit higher up. The video quality is not good. You might not be able to see what I'm doing. Right? I can't be watching the whole thing. Yeah, the video quality really is bad. Sorry about that. I don't know what to do. I'm right next to my router. I don't know why it messes up like that. If I got any closer, I'd have to have the router right on the computer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, that was the last flake right there. It took off a big lump. Come on. Yeah, come on. I know you're in there somewhere. There it is. That flake was sticky. Yeah. So it scooped it out too much. Yeah. Let's see. I got some antler billets. It's the video quality is pretty bad, right? Yeah. It's skipping. Yeah, the antler grips a little bit better. I took too much off at that time. A little bit of a learning curve here. Come on. I'm worried about this piece because it's got some internal cracks, but that was a good flake. But it's got some internal cracks, and I'm encountering those as I'm thinning. And sometimes the flakes go where I want, sometimes they don't. Nope. All right, so this is as thin as I want to go right now. Switch over to indirect percussion. I apologize for the poor video quality. Where's my indirect percussion stick? There it is. Yeah. Usually what I do is I use just a long antler tine, but when it starts to wear down a lot, I drill a hole in the back of the tine and put a stick in there. This is the oak dowel. Yeah, pretty sure it's an oak dowel. Let's try that. This is how I napped when I first started. So yeah, the indirect percussion came from using antler. When I developed the technique, it was because I didn't get any results with antler any other way. Oh, this is elk antler, by the way, the billet. And this is white-tailed deer antler. Sometimes I do break the antlers. That video quality, man. We're getting a weird effect too, right? I got lots of lighting. It takes longer to abrade with a hammer stone or with a abrading stone than it does with the artificial abraders. Yeah. So I'm trying to get around a defect in the stone right there. If I can pop that out of there, I'll be doing good. Almost. Not quite yet. Did you get it? Almost got it. I almost got it from. I hit the base upwards to try to get into that crackly area. It almost did it. Unfortunately, this stone wants to dive. I might have to go more narrow with it. The flakes want to dive in. See that as I'm taking stuff off of the center, I can see where it tried to dive in a little earlier. Yeah. Yeah. I'll stop in a minute when I'm thinking I'm reaching the end of my ability here. Hopefully the video quality is not too bad. I can't be watching both. But I'll get a little preform or a little biface out of it. Yeah. As long as I'm not too aggressive with it, it should work. I was being a little too aggressive in the beginning. When I stop, I'll look back in the chat and see if I can answer any questions. Let's see. I can't see very well. That light down there that I need so that you can see the motion better, it prevents me from seeing it exactly. Okay, I think I got it. Let's see. The tip of this is getting beat up, but should be all right. This is sandstone. Sandstone. Okay. Yeah, it does want to dive, but it should be narrow enough No. Come on. It's trying to do it. It's almost doing it. It's still giving me trouble in that crackly area in the middle right there. Let's see. One or two more hits, and I should be able to plow through that. Now this is right in the middle. It's dangerous to hit that with the amount of force I'm about to use. Let's try this. I think this one's elk, this tie in here. Does it make a difference? Sometimes, yeah. No, that one's not gripping. Okay. There we go. I'm going to try to blast that area off, and then I'll look at the chat. Yeah, it's not going to do it. It's trying to do it. I'm having to make it more narrow. Which messes with the width, the thickness ratio, but I'm still not able to blow through that steppy, crunchy area. Patrick Truesdale, $5 super chat. Thank you. What else did I miss? I hit the microphone. Hopefully that's still in a good position, so I'm not breathing into the microphone or hitting it. I still see choppy video quality. Come on. Don't make me break the antler now. It's not going to do it. Doesn't want to. One more try. Yes, right in the middle, right where I don't like hitting. Yeah. Come on. I think it did it. but there's still a remnant. Okay, I'll quit and I'll look at the chat. There's still a remnant right in the middle, right there. There's a step fracture right now on it, but I blasted most of it away. Okay. So the more narrow it gets, the easier it is to run flakes from coast to coast. You can see that it's one of my flakes from earlier started to die before it hit close to the other side. See how I scooped it at the end right here? So it's got to remain kind of thick to work with this material. But let's see if we can see the flake scars. No. See how it dived? The one flake, I tried to go coast to coast with it, and it dived before it reached the end earlier. Come on. Stinky video quality. And this is the crunchy side. Yeah, that's the crunchy side. This is the smooth side. Okay, so I'll save this for later. What do we got? What did I miss? Yeah, that did dig on the right at the end that I see. Yeah, okay. Mary says, looks great. How long has it been since you used the natural tools? How long has it been since I used natural tools to make something similar to this? Probably about 2 years, 2 or almost 3 years. Yeah, 2 or 3 years. I'm trying to think. I may have done a comparison more recent than that between antler and copper, but I think it's been 2 or 3 years before, since I've used my natural toolbox. I've had this thing for about 12 years, this mallet, and it's gone through different iterations. It used to be longer and fatter, but you can see that whenever it starts to chip, I will sand it down, try to keep it nice and solid so that it's making solid contact. And I sharpen, when I get a moose billet, I'll sharpen one end. I like to use what I call a sharpened or pointed billet sometimes. I'll show you. Maybe not on it. Oh, well. What do I use it for? I use it to get into places where it may be difficult to hit with a regular bopper or a regular billet. Like that one right there. It's hard to get into these contours when they're all kind of weird, and you don't, without abrading, you can remove a flake like that. Okay, if you use a pointed billet, you can get in those areas. And it can be used for zigzagging. Okay. Concentrates the force in an area that may be hard to hit. Yeah. I'm going to have to swing harder than that, and it's going to mess up my microphone. But I think you get the idea. You can use either end. I don't want to mess this piece up. It's been a while since I used a heavy billet. I might hit too hard. Let's see. See if I can take a big flake off. Yeah, not with this one. And microphone is slipping. Let's try one more time. No, it's not going to do it. All right. It's not going to do it safely. Let's try the hard hammerstone. Well, took it off. Took a little flake off. Hold on. Didn't travel very far. Yeah. It doesn't, it's not doing it. It's harder to take off larger flakes with the hammerstone than it is with the copper. No, that's not good. How about this one? Yeah. Nope, that's not good. Let me go back to the other one. Let's see if we can knock off a good sweet flake. Yeah, there we go. It took some persistence, but I got one. Yeah. No bulb of percussion, if you notice. Well, not no bulb, but see, there's not much of a bulb compared to other flaking techniques, right? But I had to hit that really, really hard because it slips. Okay. If it was more grippy, I wouldn't have to hit it as hard. Why is that? I don't know why that is. And since it's a hammerstone, I also have that hazard of cracking it where I don't want to crack it. See that crack that's running there? That's a stress crack from a heavy, heavy hit. Luckily, it doesn't seem to go too far down in there. You can't see. I just removed the flake from there. Let's see if I can get rid of that stress crack. I still see some up here. So hammerstones actually smash the edge worse than copper until you get the hang of them. Yeah. Especially the harder hammerstones. But yeah, I like the harder hammerstones. Less maintenance. But you can see I've already chipped part of this. That wasn't that bad earlier. This is one of my favorite stones too. It's not going to last me. Come on. Don't make me hit it that hard. Come on. I'm trying to shape the tip right now. There it goes. Okay, so what am I going to do? I was supposed to check the chat and go look and see if there's any questions further back. Yeah, I'll check questions. So it just takes a while to get used to it, and it's already taken its toll on my hammerstone. So what was I using before? I mean, I would use hammerstones on this kind of material. This is on the tougher side, so this doesn't last very long on tough stuff. But if it's really tough stuff, I'll use the quartzite. See, this is like a granite. It's like the purple granite from Texas. Very fine grain granite. This one is a quartzite. Slightly different composition, right? Different minerals in the granite than in the quartzite, which makes the quartzite tougher than the granite. Granite will break up, so I've got to use it on softer stone. With copper, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You just use the copper for everything. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the properties of the tool that you're using. Anyways. Let's see. Ralph says, Patrick T, maybe contact the zoo in your area for shed antlers. I have a friend who got me some reindeer antlers from the Detroit Zoo. That one I have not heard of before. Yeah. Usually I get antlers from hunters. Yeah. Make friends with hunters and they'll have antlers. They'll find sheds where they're out hunting and whatever. Now they know, most hunters know that you can sell antlers to an antler dealer. He'll just buy everything. You say, well, I've got, 40, 50 antlers that are sheds. And they'll say, I'll just buy them all. And they'll give you a price. And it's usually not that much per antler. But at least you can get rid of them all, right? That's why the antler dealers have so many antlers. Because it's just cash for the whole, whatever you got, every single bit. Because they can they chop them up into different pieces for chews or for pendants or whatever. Anyway, if you make friends with a hunter, you can usually get antlers much easier than trying to get them off a dealer or go to the pet store, that kind of thing. Or you go to Knapping, yeah, get antlers tools from Knappings. Rob says, I noticed that harder hammerstones scoop out the flint, which can be useful. Yeah, everything will scoop it out. You'll find that no matter what you're using, you're going to get scoops. Now, is it easier to scoop it with a hammerstone? I don't know. It depends on your technique. If you are brushing you shouldn't ever get bad scoops. If you have the technique where you're hitting like this and not brushing, like if you hit straight in, some people will hit straighter than others. Someone will do. Let me explain this. Hold on. Some people will hit straight in, like I'm saying. They'll go like that. You can noticeably see the straight strike. Those will scoop more than if you arc it, and you won't scoop as much. Okay. Most of my hits are arced like this, so the risk of scooping is minimal. Plus, you can angle this workpiece. If you're not on your lap, you can angle the workpiece so it won't scoop it. The more angle downward, the less scoop chance. It's the in force that scoops it. Okay? And it happens with hammerstones or with antler. Okay? So my advice to avoid scooping is, arc it and, short flicks to begin with until you can build up until you build up your muscle memory to get used to making longer flakes. You can adjust the angle and get it to travel inward without scooping, like I did on that big flake. Okay. What was I going to say? I can't remember now. Something about scooping? No. Anyways, Yeah, I can't remember. Or I was going to make another clarification there. Mm-hmm. Rob says for antlers, you can call around to butchers and do who do deer processing. Yeah, I've done that too, but I've noticed that a lot of those butchers already know that they can sell their antlers to dealers in bulk, and they just save them all in a corner, and then they'll call it the dealer and says, "Okay, how much are you going to give me for this 200 pounds of antler?" And he'll give them a price, and that's out of there. Yeah. What about cow? Any any available bones? You can use cow bone, but it splits easy. The best antler, if you want to know what I think are the best antlers, it's white-tailed deer of any size, right? Because you can use any part of the antler, but the larger the antler, the better, and the further north the white-tailed deer live, the better. So southern whitetail with short antlers, those antlers are not that great for napping. The larger deer in northern climates with big antlers are the best, in my opinion, for napping. Better than moose, better than elk, better than bones. Uh, the hip joint on a huge bone doesn't work that good. None of the bones work that good except the skull bone. And it happens to be attached to the antler. You can cut off part of the skull. Why is only the skull good? Because it has to resist the shock when they're fighting. When male deer fight, the antler has to absorb shock, and so does the skull. And that goes for rams and goats, anything that has horns. The skull is the toughest bone. It doesn't even come close. Other bones don't even come close to the skull and antler as far as shock absorption. Let's see. Yeah, one thing that a lot of nappers, when they're using, let's say, a leg pad, they're depending upon the leg to support the work. All right. When I nap freehand, there's a misconception that I have to hold it extra firm to get the flakes to travel. Okay. I use the weight of the workpiece against itself. So that means I'm hitting much faster and harder than you would like on your leg because I'm using the resistance of the mass of the workpiece against itself, even when it's small. Even when it's small and I'm using indirect percussion, I'm using the mass of the workpiece plus the mass of my hand to resist, but it has to be a fast strike to utilize the mass of the workpiece or the mass of the nodule against itself. Okay, that's why you saw me hitting really fast and hard. Okay, and I like doing it that way because it's less cumbersome. There's less that you have to carry with you. Like you don't have to carry a big leg pad. You don't have to carry big boppers. You can use small hammer stones like this on a piece that's relatively large. If you hit fast and use the mass of the workpiece against itself. Okay, the same goes with copper. Except when you looking at modern tools, people think that it's way different than using hammer stones. It's a totally different ball game. It is when you're looking at the subtleties, but overall, in general, I'm still using the mass of the workpiece against itself and striking fast. Okay, with small tools. Like I hardly ever use my 14-ounce bopper because it's usually too big for this kind of work. But I'm using it because I ruined my other smaller boppers, my 6-ounce and my 9-ounce. Mike's gonna send me some more. But anyway, I'm using a bopper that's too big usually for this kind of stuff for the technique that I use. Hard and fast tools and using the mass of the workpiece against itself. I'm not supporting it extra firmly. and I'm not going to put it on my leg to help support it. Okay? Because I don't need to. I just use the mass of the workpiece against itself. Okay. Artist Breaks Rock is in the house. Let's see here. Bones are best for pressure flaking and not percussion, in case you don't know. Unless you're doing vertical percussion with some kind of punch. Ginger Squatch is here. You found your ginger snaps. That reminds me, I need to check on the skunks outside. See if they're there. We got some new people in the house. You don't know that Jumpy the skunk had 6 babies, and they might be outside right now. Let's see here. What did I miss? I'm going to go back and see if there's questions in the chat. Looks like I didn't miss any questions. You guys are funny. Some of these comments are funny. I mean, I don't want to read them out loud. Maybe I'm choppy and not the video. Yeah, that's what it is. No, Sal, don't worry about talking too much. Yeah, no, I purposely avoided the chat to try to do some napping. If I see some questions, I'll answer the questions. I don't see. Yeah, Jesse said, I'm scared for Patrick to read our comments. I'm not going to read them all. Don't worry. If they're a little dicey, I'll just go, oh, that's funny. Oh, that's interesting. Alan Cole says, so we get an extra hour if because I'm behind on the chat. No, actually, the computer says I need to be charged. So the computer might quit on me before the end of the time. Yeah, let me get my charger for the computer. Hold on. Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, I'm going to get the charger. I should have done this before, but usually the computer will last a couple hours easy, but it gave me the sign that it's running low. So I have to, and it may be the computer getting all stupid on us because it's running low on battery. The video is choppy. Let's see if I can reach. The side outlet. Yeah. And then got my ladder in here too. Let's see, is that working? I think it's charging. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go till 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll go longer if the chat is really long, if there's questions also. Patrick Truesdale says, the premium on Antler is up there. Is there a cheaper way than eBay to find a big chunk of elk antler? Not really. You'll just have the cheapest way to find antler is to make friends with hunters or taxidermists or both, and then just get what they can't use. See, a lot of times taxidermists especially will hoard antlers into a big pile, and whenever they need antlers for a mount, let's say to repair a broken tine or something on a mount, or maybe even replace an entire side of because one of the antler sides is pretty bad on the deer. When they shoot the deer, they're not always symmetrical. So the taxidermist might have a side that is actually better than the side that was on the deer to begin with. But he has an extra, so he'll put that on there. And the side that was bad, he'll throw in a pile. and you may be able to get those perfectly good antlers, except that it's either deformed or he's got a side that looks better. You know what I'm saying? So I've gotten free antler that way, just from waste from a taxidermist. Hunters will sometimes give up their antlers because they're interested in what you do. Sometimes they'll say, "Can you make me an arrowhead? If I give you this antler, can you make me an arrowhead?" And you go, "Yeah." Make sure you do it quickly though. Don't be like me and take forever. Yeah. I got too many of those arrangements going on. That's the problem. Um, the cheaper way is to trade for the antler. Yeah. And you can buy stuff at Knappings too. It does get pricey at Knappings, but once in a while you can find a deal. Sal says he's got to go. He'll be back Monday. Yep. Next live stream after this is Monday. Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Sal says my wife saw the comments. Let's see here. Yep. See you later, Sal. He left early at 9:27. I'm like 20 minutes behind. I went 20 minutes behind to see if I can find a question. Let's see what else. Tool grip on a rock. Got it. Patrick Toulouse says, "Yeah, I have some friends with antler and even got one, but I'd hate to cut it up. It's a pretty skull mount to make one, and elk billet has a high premium. Yeah, just do it anyway. Believe it or not, you'll come up with some more antler. Yeah, I used to try to save antler and be really careful with it, but it doesn't work out that great. Just use it as you get it. And don't be shy with using it. Yeah. It messes up your napping if you're too conservative with the antlers and stuff. You can't have that worry on your mind. Yeah. Patrick Toulouse-Dale. Did I say Toulouse earlier? Patrick Toulouse-Dale is a prospector, so he learned geology and hardness on the stones. I see. But it's best just to experiment. Yeah. There's no substitute for just grabbing the stone and hitting another stone. There's no you can't plan on what's going to be good ahead of time by just looking at the stone and knowing what it's called. There's no way to know that that's going to work with your material. You've got to actually have a collection of hammerstones and then swap them out as you're napping to see which one is working. Yeah, and when you're looking for antlers from butchers or people who do deer processing or people who are taxidermists, the best thing to do is go in person. Yeah, because on the phone, I don't know. Most of us are not in business. Okay, are not on the business side of things. So we don't know. I didn't know this. Businesses get calls like that all the time. There may have been like 10 people before you in the past month that called about the antlers. So the guy gets tired about people calling about antlers. They're wanting to buy it for dog chews, for example, and they only pay it a little bit of money per pound. If you go in person and then you tell them that you're a flint napper and you're using them to make arrowheads, they might just soften up and say, "Hey, can you make me an arrowhead?" Or that's cool. I didn't know that could be used for that. And you strike up a little conversation. If you're the person that doesn't want to talk to anybody, you better learn to find antlers on your own. You go to public land and start looking. Yeah. Drive to public land during antler shed season and look around. If there's deer on that land, they're dropping antlers somewhere. Train your dog to find them. Go find them yourself. If you don't want to talk to people. To find out how to find antlers, just like looking for rocks. Find out how to look for rocks, but you also have to find out how to look for antlers. And it can be done. You'll spend hours and hours and hours looking for antlers, but you'll get them. Eventually, you'll find them. Especially if you train your dog to sniff them out, or if you have a dog that does that. Hey, $10 super chat. Where did it come from? Patrick Tuesdale, thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Yeah, swamp rabbit size deer here in southeast Texas. You're right. Up north or even in Oklahoma, the deer get bigger. Yep. Alan Cole, $5 super chat. I missed that one earlier. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, Trousdale. I've been pronouncing it wrong. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm talking about antlers in the chat. Let's see. Patrick says, I saw in Alaska they are running for antler in the fields. Interesting. Oh, as far as also what if you can get axis deer antler, that's even better than whitetail. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Here in the United States, we're starting to see more axis deer. It's an exotic species from India, right? They have really, really good antler for flintknapping. Axis deer. I'm trying to think here, but yeah. Other than that, whitetail is going to be your best bet. The large whitetail, and if you insist on huge boppers and billets, then yeah, get some moose. But that's going to run you some money. All righty, good. I'm glad people forgive me for mispronouncing their names. One of the last live streams recently, my friend from Poland wanted me to say hi to some of his friends, but I couldn't pronounce any of their names. But they didn't say anything, so I don't know. I try. Okay, so yeah, I brought this out, the natural tool stuff out because I'm going to be doing some more videos with it. But as far as enjoyment with using the natural tools, I don't enjoy using them. I know how to do it. I much prefer to use the fancy copper stuff nowadays. I'm getting soft up in the head probably. I do prefer using the copper, especially because when new guys ask me what to do, if they're using copper to do what I'm suggesting, there's less of a chance for them to go, it's not doing it. I tried it. Like if I give them advice on finding hammerstones, like find one like this, they'll say, yeah, I found one. It looks like that. Same color, same size, same everything, but it didn't do it. It broke in half, or it's too crumbly. It's too crumbly. And when I hit my stone, all I get is little bitty flakes, no matter how hard I hit. So, but if I'm using copper, then it's either them or the stone and not the tool that's messing up. Okay? You reduce one of the variables or you eliminate one of the variables. Let's see. There's a Discovery Channel show for game wardens on YouTube, and the where watching poaching on the day they can run and find antler. It's worth the watch. Some wrecks can bring $500 if you find both. Yeah. Yep. Irish elk was a big moose type, right, Ralph? Let's see. Yeah, I think they do call moose elk in Europe or something like that. JF Baird says, I have antler and I didn't enjoy it either. Ross Wellman says, good night, everybody. See you Monday. All right, we'll see you later, Ross. Good to see you. Rob says, if any antler is very chalky or cracked, it's been weathered too long. Smooth white area is the best for pressure flaking. Yeah. Smooth white are the best for pressure flaking. So I guess smooth whitetail deer. All righty. So yeah, I'm gonna end the live stream at 10. So if you have any questions, please ask them before the time's over. Yep. And if I didn't answer a question previously in the chat, if I missed it, try asking again, because I'm watching the chat and not the napping. Yeah. So most of this road rock that I found is similar to the one I was just napping with the antler. Okay. Most of it's similar. And I'll reduce most of this down with indirect percussion and do very little pressure flaking with antler. I'm not big on pressure flaking with antler. I do a lot more with copper. Yeah. It just requires, it gives me napper's cramp when I nap with antler because it requires more force. Yeah. I don't know why it does. It just seems to require more force. Maybe it's because it feels like I'm have to using more force because I'm sometimes I'll just use the tine and it digs into my fingers. If I use a composite flaker for pressure flaking, it's not so bad with a big thick wood handle. Yeah, just like what I use for pressure flaking. This is a 1-inch diameter oak dowel, but I prefer actually a little bit fatter than this. I use the 1-inch oak dowel for these because I can just buy the dowel. It's easy, and the larger diameter oak is too expensive. I've got a lot of free wood now, so I think I'm going to make some composite antler tipped pressure flakers. And I've got to start exploring using handles like this that are typically used for curved knives. Use these handles for pressure flakers because I think what happened in the past is that they were interchanging blades with antler tips for for their tools. They would use the same tool but in different ways for different things, with depending on the tip that they attach to it. Does that make sense? Like you can attach a stone blade to do the curved knife thing. Okay, but you can also attach a antler piece to it and use it as a pressure flaker in this way, and not use this curved part unless you've got a stone blade and using it like a curved knife. You know what I'm saying? And then later on they put in steel blades. Okay, but there's archaeological finds that have this type of handle with a antler stuck in there. Okay, but I think they were interchanging them with stone blades. Let's see. All right, Bill Taylor says he's gonna. Oh, Bill, I think I'm gonna send you a couple of these stones. Did you see? I'm gonna send you this one, this road rock. It's 7 inches long and stuff like this. When I go to the napping in October, I'll be looking for stuff like this for you. 7 inches or more. Yeah. Rob says, mount those antler tips on a comfy diameter stick pad and you'll be surprised. Yeah. Just use the tip that are about 4 inches long, channel out the wood to accept the curve of the antler tip, roughly. Yeah. All right. Good night. JF Baird says good night. Alan Cole says good night. Jim for Big Rock, not Bill. Oh, okay. It's not Bill Taylor. It's Jim Cooper. I'm glad you remind me. I get people mixed up. Dang it. Yeah, you're right. Mary says, I just have to say good weekend before he cuts me off. All righty. Okay. It's 10:01. I'm going to say good night. Noah Merritt says good night. Okay. It was good. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the super chats. Good to see everybody. Yeah. Everybody showed up as far as I know. All the regulars showed up tonight. All right. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday. The next live stream is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. All righty. Okay. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.